Okay, so I think that we will start, and if somebody comes in, so they will just join us. Hi everyone, my name is Alexei. This is Dan. I'm from Voximplant, true serverless CPaaS, and today we are going to talk about two approaches to communication app and telephony bot development. One of them is traditional development when we're writing code, and another one is visual development, visual programming when we are using building blocks and so on to let this use for let it be used by people who are not programmers and developers. We will tell a little bit more about the topic during the next 5 minutes. Then we will be showing the actual thing in action for the next 25 minutes. And then we will have some time for Q&A session. So if you have questions, we are happy to answer. As a result of this workshop, we will learn how to build AI-powered telephony bots, which can be used for customer service automation, and you can automate up to 50% of your customer service requests using this way in voice channel. So does it sound good? So this agenda is okay, I guess. So sorry, so we can change it. You can switch to your. So let's start with CPaaS. Why CPaaS and automation is important these days? It's important because according to Gartner, 25% of customer service and support requests are going to use some kind of bots in the near future, like in the next year, to automate these customer service requests. And even IBM predicted something like 85% of all customer requests can be handled without live human by 2020, but it's probably too optimistic. I would not bet on this, but still, we'll see. Maybe IBM is right here. So I think that another thing which is important is that today we got a lot of text bots, chat bots, but when it comes to other channels like voice, it's just the beginning. And the truth is that it's not that different. So when it comes to building in a voice bot or telephony bot, natural language understanding still deals with text. So we recognize speech into text, we send text to an NLU engine, it provides us with some text answers, we synthesize speech from it, and that's how it works. So I can imagine that your or other companies, customer service executives, customer experience executives will be coming to you and asking to provide them with some AI ML-powered solution in the upcoming years more and more often. And it's a good thing, but there are some problems also associated with that. So, and these problems are in development side of things because you need to build these solutions. And according to different researches, when it comes to larger IT projects with bigger budgets, like let's say 15 million plus, nobody can deliver this on time. It's like more than half cases when they're not delivered in time, they kind of go beyond the budget, and everything can go wrong. Oh, that's fine, no problem with that. And according to another research from a company called GatePoint, it's like 69% of companies face problems when they want to deliver some product in time to the market, and 81 of these respondents were actually companies from Fortune 1000. So that's a pain. And why is this happening? So basically the development cycle looks like as follows. So we got business users, they need something, they work together with analysts to create requirements, then these requirements go to developers, developers analyze them somehow and build some software and solution, Then there's QA guys checking if it fits the requirements, how they understand them, and then all this returned to business users, who in the end are not that happy with the result. So like 66% of cases are about business users are not happy and not using the result of what developers build. So that's a problem because money was spent, time was spent, but nothing happened in terms of the business outcome. And who is responsible for this kind of failure? It's a good question, but probably nobody. It's just a process, but that's why we exist. CPaaS, new approaches to fix this problem. And I think that this happens to a lot of businesses, including ourselves. So I give a word to Dennis to talk a little bit about these approaches, how we can solve
Thanks, Alexei. So let's return to the executives from the report that Alexei mentioned before. When asked what would have the most significant impact on their business, the top answer, like 55%, was reduced time to deliver. So what can we change in the programming of communication solutions? Let's accelerate the process. Let business users to design these solutions by ourselves, try them out, and make changes. Give them a tool they need to design their own communication apps according to their business goals. The main idea here is to ensure that the change can be introduced as fast as possible. So that's what visual programming is about, and it allows one developer to complete microsprints and expose the end users to the solutions once, twice, or even three times per week instead of every 2 to 5 weeks. And for developer and eventually for the companies, it saves a lot of time. So the question, can this approach... No, just for me, yeah. So can this approach make developers useless? Definitely not. The visual programming has to deal with the functional blocks that can't expose the whole functionality of CPaaS. And don't forget about the fact that actually any business communication scenario can be integrated with other IT systems and software, and that can be done without developers. So to sum up all that we have talked about, the visual programming in CPaaS allows to reduce time to market from months to days. It lets business users check their requirements before going to the long and expensive development due to the fast prototyping capabilities of visual programming. It allows to make changes in product fast and easy, and it does not replace developers. So I hope you like the idea. Now we have had time to practice. Okay, so this is a tool for fast visual programming. We call it Smart Calls. We have different sections here, like making call scenarios for outbound calls, for inbound calls, because the business logic is slightly differs. We have media storage for using different MP3 files in this, creating the voicebots and IVRs. We have ability to purchase phone numbers in more than 60 countries directly in this tool. We have different integrations. So if you want to integrate this tool into the CRM system, so backend of the company, you could use this section to make this integration, actually. So I jump faster to the outbound calls scenarios to show you the visual editing in practice. So I'm creating this scenario. Here is a standard template of the visual programming of the outbound calls. So what we decided to do in this workshop, we decided that our business goal and business targets will be to collect the feedback about APIdays conference from all of us, you and us as well. So it will be a kind of the customer satisfaction survey asking about the opinion about APIdays conference. And I made a small trick here because we have not so much time to show it. So I put here different phrases of the IVR voicebot, not to waste time for this. So what we have here, we have different blocks. We can use it into this field. Later I can show you better what this block is about, but now I want to focus on solving our business task within 5 minutes. So if somebody can start counting, please do it. So here I have the start of the call. The call can be not connected with a potential customer. It can be a voicemail, but it can be connected. So if a call is connected, I can use the call recording here. And the system warns us that we need to inform customer about necessity to about this call recording. I will use my, let's say, our core functional block called interactive menu. It combines speech synthesis, speech recognition, playing of the media files, and using the DTMF signaling to press the buttons on the phone. In this interactive menu, I can play, as far as I told you, we can play the audio, but now I will use speech synthesis. We have different languages here. From different vendors. We will use the best in class at the moment, the speech synthesis from powered by WebNet technology. We have different voices here. Let's leave the basic. And
Yes. It's probably like 30, 25.
yeah. And in this block, I can use these phrases to synthesize. And I can use variables here. So make this call more personal and use different brand name or different services and so on. So we would try to make this scenario universal. I can use here number of replays, like put it like 2. I can change the behavior of the voice bot during the replay because we don't need to hear once again everything like greetings and so on. But at this moment, I won't do it. And we can use here a lot of different languages to recognize. Yes, so we will leave United States English. I will ask Alexei to support me here because my English, unfortunately, not so good. And we can add here the different responses. Like the case here is to rate from 1 to 5 the APIdays services. Like I can put here different options how we can answer to this question. I will not use it in every possible answer to make it faster. But maybe in these 2 rows. And of course, I can use the buttons. Okay. So I have an interactive menu, and I have here possibility to error because of the recognition error or because the customer didn't press any buttons. So I need to use it. So after this interactive menu, I want to collect the open feedback of the customer. So I will use a speech-to-text block. The customer will have 20 seconds to get some answer, and if customer stays silent for 5 seconds, the system decides that the answer is full. And I will use here like voice of customer variable. And once again, I will use English language to recognize. I need to ask customer to provide this feedback. So I will use this phrase here. And after it happens, I think we need to tell to the customer goodbye. So once again, I will use text-to-speech. And after this block, we can see that the call is successful. So we don't need to call to this customer once again and again and again and again. So after this scenario is put to this green block, we believe that it's a successful finishing of the scenario. To make it simpler, we put everything here, and later I can show you how using the data modification block, we can have all the information about the call here. And the one thing left, if something goes wrong and the recognition works bad, we can once again tell it to the customer. We can tell it in that case, and we can tell it in that case. And then we can handle this event in two ways. The one way, we can forward the call to the call center agent to the real phone number, phone network number, or we can use a SIP protocol to put the same. But in that case, we won't do it. We just call to customer back. Actually, that's it. I think we can save this scenario. If there are some mistakes, it will inform me. Except the call recording, everything is fine. And now we can test it. So I will use the caller ID from United States, and I will call to my phone number. I will use brand APIdays. The name was, I'm going to call to Alex. And I will use APIdays conference, something like that.
Hi Alex, greetings from APIdays team. Please rate the APIdays conference 2019 from 1 to 5.
5.
Hi Alex, greetings from APIdays team.
Please
rate the APIdays conference 2019 from 1 to 5. Hi Alex, greetings from APIdays team.
Hold on a second.
Please rate the APIdays conference 2019 from 1 to 5.
Sorry.
Could you please tell us general feedback about the APIdays conference 2019?
It was a great conference. I liked it.
Thank you for participating in the survey. Goodbye.
Okay, so loudspeaker doesn't work really well with recognition, but we can.
But actually, we prepared for you
scenario, yeah.
The scenario which is actually more complicated. It filled with different variables. It has the same approach to the speech recognition and synthesis, and it handles these events more
Accurate.
Yeah.
Change.
Mm-hmm.
Number. Okay.
Hello, Alex. Greetings from APIdays team. Is it convenient for you to take a short survey now? Please say yes or no.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Could you please rate by the voice or dial pad buttons on a scale from 0 to 10 how likely is it that you would recommend 2019 conference hosted by APIdays to a friend or colleague?
9.
Could you please rate by the voice or dial pad buttons on a scale? We are so happy that you like the 2019 conference. What's the most important reason for your score?
I really like the conference, so I recommend it to everybody.
Thank you for participating in the survey. Goodbye.
Okay. So basically, loudspeaker is not the best thing to use in speech recognition cases. So sometimes it's like, when you call customer, he most likely won't use loudspeaker. So that's the issue sometimes. But you could see the idea, right? So how it works.
So what we have done just right now, we have made the simple scenario in 5 minutes, and this more complicated scenario, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes to integrate. Then you can implement it into your business processes, call to people, check the first feedback, and then came to your developers with a direct task that I want to have these phrases, I want to have these variables, I want to have everything. And it doesn't require any technical skills to use it. So any business analyst or business user can use this visual programming to create the first version of communication solution. So with this solution, you could do outbound calls, you can receive inbound calls on the different phone numbers. So first you test these things, and then maybe we can go to Alexei and ask him to create some complicated solution, which just handles all the things more properly than it's doing by Smart Calls. So can you please show it how it works?
Okay, so basically, I wouldn't call what I can show right now complicated case because I don't have enough time to program complicated case. But I will give you an idea what will happen if, after some prototyping and believing that it works, there's a developer who actually tried to do the same thing, but with another approach, which is a traditional development. Voximplant provides a cloud IDE where you can actually build your applications like any other CPaaS platform. So we all have our own control panels, but since we're a serverless platform, we can do stuff right here and launch everything right from here. So what I'm going to do is build some demo application in real time and show you how it handles the similar things which we just seen in case of Dennis. So, and it's a different approach, but the idea is still the same. So what we are doing here is instead of using building blocks, we are writing code. And in our case, platform is programmable using JavaScript language, so it will take me a couple of minutes to create a simple scenario doing what we want. So what we want is to actually, we will be launching a call by some external HTTP request to a platform to do outbound call. And this call will be saying something to us, please rate the quality and so on. And we will answer and use speech recognition in real time to handle the whole thing. So I'm doing it right now. It will take me a couple of minutes. Sorry for that. I have some ready-to-use scenario, but I just want to give you an idea how much time it will take a real person to build something like that. So yeah, and what we need is to handle call connected state. What we need is to handle case when something went wrong and call failed. Then we will just kind of terminate the session. Then we also need to, it's another story. We need to actually do an outbound call here, right? So we are doing call PSTN. I'm going to call my own number just to simplify things a little bit. I don't remember which numbers I have, so I need to specify caller ID. Without it, it just won't work. So hold on a second. Okay, what numbers I have? So I got, let's say this one. I can use as a caller ID. Here, that's it. So system will call me, and then in some function I created like call connected function. What I'm doing here is like I need to say something to a caller. So what Dennis showed with the block in smart calls, in my case it's a string of code, but still, hi, it's APIdays survey. Please rate your experience from 1 to 5. So then I'm also using different languages. I can use different languages, but in this particular case, I will just use the default one. And after that was played back, we need to do ISR thing, let's say. And I will just use recognition because I can also enable key handling if you want, but it just takes more time. So I will go directly to recognition. So what I want to do is to actually remove listener, not to call this function all the time. Later. And that's the interesting part of it. So I'm creating a recognition instance. I'm choosing languages again, so it's a it's ISR language. I got some options, but this should be English, US English. So probably I'm closer to US than to UK in my case. So there are some additional options like streaming, like interim results. I can also provide a dictionary to help it a little bit with the results, but it's a free form, so it's just an option. So I can use it, but it's not necessarily required. So let's try this just to make life easier for Google recognition. In this particular case, it will be Google as a speech API provider. So I created an instance of ISR, then I send media from call to ISR. So this ISR instance will be actually recognizing the speech. And when there is some event happens, which is about getting the result of recognition, we will have some functions called here, and we can do trace just to see the result is, it will be text. And we can say something like, thank you for your feedback. Then again, language, premium, US, English mail, and playback finished, and we also terminate the session. So it's a very simple scenario. It doesn't do anything complicated. So probably that's it. And what I'm going to do now is to show how it works. For that, I will use some things called routing. I just need to launch it from a control panel. And I'm binding my scenario to a route to launch it. And I would probably do some debugging immediately just to save time and show you how it works. So because of the serverless architecture, you can actually work with that like with any other code in a browser. And by the way, I forgot the ISR variable, so it would be an error. And what I want to do is, like, let's say I will put a breakpoint here. So when a call is connected, we will pause here, and I can resume, and we will hear a voice. And then I will put a breakpoint here when we got the result, so we will see the trace. So what I'm doing here is I need to have a routing in a separate tab. I'm launching the debugger, and that's one of the cool things in our case. So we have a real-time debugger in place. That's our code here. And then I'm just launching it from the panel. It should call me. Oh, sorry. Call is undefined, so I got an error. That's a good thing. Debugger tells you that immediately. And because, yeah, I wrote it in the wrong way. So again, launching, everything is good. I'm launching it again. Again, paused, sorry, it's a breakpoint, I need to remove it. This way, continue. So let's wait. Okay, I got an incoming call. And it's paused here, so I'm pressing continue.
APIdays survey. Please rate your experience from 1 to 5.
5. Oh, sorry, it's recognizing wrongly. But again, so the result is here. We made a trace. We got a pause here. Thank you for feedback. Actually, we can check if text is not from our options. We can re-ask or do whatever we want. But other than that,
Or we can.
Thank you for your feedback.
okay, so that's it. It's a very simple scenario, but it was built pretty fast, right? So maybe it's not possible to build by a non-developer, but for developers it's still reasonable. You can prototype things on the fly. But again, it's a very simple one. So if you want to integrate it with something, have more complex things, when it comes to many menus and other things, it's becoming bigger and bigger. We need more time to debug it, more developers control the whole thing. And sometimes it's a good thing to utilize third-party capabilities of other guys like Google to help yourself. So for example, we got a Dialogflow connector to their Dialogflow product from Google Cloud, which allows you to do natural language processing. Basically, in our case, we are just checking what was recognized. In their case, it's not just checking what was recognized. It's like you building a bot. I'm not going to tell a lot about Dialogflow. It's a product. You can learn about it. But in general, you can build bots in it. In our case, we can connect telephony to it. And then we got some scenario, which is like, let's say, 2 screens of JavaScript, which connects a call to a Dialogflow bot. And we also have it connected to a CRM system. In this case, it's a pipe drive. The scenario is about doing an appointment to a doctor. So bot asks you about some things, you talk with it, and then you got an appointment which should appear in a CRM system. So Dialogflow itself is here. Bot is created with intents and everything. We connected it. So I just call this bot from my phone, and let's see how it goes.
Hi, you have reached St. Anne's Hospital. Would you like to make an appointment?
Yes, please.
Okay, to proceed further, I need to take your details. What is your name?
My name is Alex.
Tell me, what doctor would you like to have an appointment with? For example, a physician, a surgeon, a cardiologist, a dentist.
A dentist.
Okay, please let me know what date and time is convenient for the appointment.
The day after tomorrow at 7 p.m., please.
Your new appointment has been confirmed for 7 p.m. on June 21st. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, then. We're looking forward to seeing you at the St. Anne's Hospital. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Yeah, so basically it was a Dialogflow which was working with me to get information and send it to the CRM system where we got it immediately. Next time I'm called to the same phone number, I'm already in the database. So it should actually know about me.
Hi, Alex. You have an appointment at St. Anne's Hospital with a dentist on June 21st at 7 p.m. Would you like to change it, cancel it, or speak to an operator?
Speak to an operator.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Speak to an operator.
Please wait while we are forwarding your call to an operator.
Okay, so I got this call here. I got the data from the CRM immediately in my working seat, so I can answer and I can talk. With it. Okay, so the idea is that simple. So you can build things on the fly. You can connect telephony with bots. You can build business logic depending on your requirements. But with programming skills, you can build more complex features and scenarios and capabilities compared to Visual Builder. Again, it's up to you to decide what is better, but in most cases, what we've seen from real business, it's much easier to understand this from blocks and what's going on rather from a code which is written on a screen. So if you want to work with business, it's really a good way to explain the whole thing. It's a good thing for prototyping because they can do something themselves. They can break things, they can play with things, they can learn something. And eventually, if they have more complex scenarios, they will come to you and say, like, you know what, I would like to build something complex and we need to integrate it with other stuff. And I have developers now who can do that. So please let us know how to work with the platform or something. But it's a good thing to have this option, right? So to give them an idea how it works and what can be done without actual coding.
Can you actually generate codes to start visual and then convert the visual and flow into a script from which?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening behind the curtain, right? So it's like these visual blocks are being transpiled into JavaScript, which is being executed in our cloud. It can be done. The only problem here is that it can be done another way. So if you once kind of transpiled it and changed something, then you won't be able to return to visual representation. But in one direction, it can work. So basically, it's a piece of JavaScript code somewhere which was created from your visual scenario. In our case, in other platforms, it can be something else, but the idea is similar. So basically, you are replacing coding part with something easy to use and fast to use.
Yes. Both products, the Voximplant as a platform and the Smart Calls as a ready-to-use tool to make these calls, are free to register. So anybody could go there, and the Voximplant is for developers, the Smart Calls for everybody. And but when you register at Smart Calls, it automatically creates the Voximplant account, and there started to appear different JavaScript coding.
It will be still JavaScript, but you won't see it. Unless you really want and ask us to show it. So that's it. That's the idea. Any questions?
Can we also send and receive calls via SIP?
Yes, of course. You can connect. In terms of Voximplant, you can do both. Use your SIP trunks, use your DIDs connected to SIP. In case of Smart Calls, probably not everything is available yet. I don't remember we have SIP trunking for outbound connected there, but there is a call forwarding to SIP, and we've been working on connecting SIP as DID numbers. So eventually we will have all the features there, but it takes time, so we just kind of approaching it one by one. So we also have Dialogflow in place. We are working on it, but it's not in production ready state. So if you have your own scenario with Dialogflow agent, you can show the difference in terms of how scenario looks like when you got Dialogflow block in it instead of all these visual blocks which are doing the same thing but a little bit differently. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't need to build it. you will do that at Dialogflow side, intents, programming intents, like how they should behave on the user input, parameters, and all that stuff. But in smart calls, it will become
Actually, you could see
literally
that
this.
Inbound scenario, where would you get the parameters from?
The basic thing is you got caller ID as one of them. Then you can do HTTP requests to get data out of your CRM, let's say, and then you got these parameters already for your scenario. You had a question?
We have desktop version.
A desktop version of smart calls?
Instead of programming in a browser, which is not very secure nowadays.
You can use our HTTP API to deploy your app. So basically, you can write JavaScript code in any IDE you like. You will lack of some features like after complete, maybe something like that, because we don't have after complete for every IDE which exists in the world, depending on your choice. Probably for Visual Studio Code, it should work because it's TypeScript based in the end. But in general, you just writing code, uploading it in the cloud, and that's it. So it's like
What I mean in case of visual programming.
in case of visual programming, we are working on, you won't be able to do anything with code here. So it will be more about having different versions of your script. You can switch between them. So it's like version control for your visual scripts rather than, something else. So you are not going to work with code here unless it's...
So you are typing code,
Here, it's just parameters. So these parameters are being passed to system to work with them, but it's not like real code. So it's just pseudo code, if you want.
Okay, so that was your ID actually. When you were typing code, was your ID, was not platform.
Yeah. It's different things. So it was an ID of Voximplant, not smart calls. So.
Okay.
But again, so everything built in smart calls is built on top of Voximplant. So if you want to build your own visual builder for our platform, let's say, you can do that because it utilizes exactly similar APIs and capabilities.
Yeah, interface with APIs.
Yes.
So actually, that's an idea. If you have some questions or discussions, like is it really helpful to use the visual programming? Does it replace the development? We can discuss it.
Is it possible after a call that one leg stands in the call and the other exits? So if the caller hangs up, you can, for example, make a survey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So in our case, legs of calls are completely independent, and you control every leg independently and do whatever is required. So it's in case of serverless, it's a good thing because let's assume you got some error or something, and you want to gracefully handle it. You will just like say, "Oh, sorry, something went wrong. Please call us back later," or we are trying to call operator one more time, or you have options.
Another question. Let's say a transaction ID is known. Can you send it over like an attribute into this surface script so that you recognize in the chain?
Yeah, absolutely. If you got SIP call, yeah, you can send it in. If you open a call operator, or call forwarding, and choose SIP, show advanced here, you can probably extra headers, let's say. So you can use headers and pass data together with the call, depending on what's required.
That block shows that still smart calls have to be used by developers somehow at some point of this complexity of scenario.
Yeah, if you want to integrate it, let's say, with third-party web services, of course, you will need a person who at least understands HTTP, right? So to write HTTP request that works. But you can always ask a help, which is please help me with few HTTP requests to our backend. rather than please develop me the application which handle calls and all that stuff. So for the guy who is a, let's say, web developer, it's like, okay, so you just need to fill here these parameters and it should work, and that's it. So it's like, business analysts can do that. We got people in our team who are on business analyst level, and they're building pretty complex scenarios for e-commerce and other cases. So,
knowledge people, you need to have knowledge.
Yeah.
Actually, when we started this product, we were a little bit scared to show it to our existing customers and developer sites because we are afraid that, they started to think, they want to throw it out with this thing. But eventually, when some of them, they see it, they told us, this is a great tool. I don't need to code anything, and I can show it to our business users so fast and easy. So for me, it's even better if I do some coding at your platform, for example, in some cases. But in some cases, it's not. So it's
more than that, they used to use both. So we got customers, they started with Voximplant, they programmed some call center stuff, and eventually when we introduced smart calls, they started using smart calls along with Voximplant and even forwarding calls from smart call scenarios to Voximplant call center. So they are, compatible, why not? Okay, so any other questions? And if you decide to play with the system, you can either grab a certificate with money just to upload some funds. So let us know. So we are happy to give you a gift to play with the systems, both. So depending on what you like and what you need. And happy to help. Okay, I guess that's it then. Thank you.
Thank you very much.